shift. Honey, he'd say, it's like you're not there. And I wasn't, for I was daydreaming. You see, so the question then is here, tonight, before you, is you today, a Saturday after April Fool's Day, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Today, a week later in Hartford, Connecticut, at a hotel room with a view of the Capitol and Bushnell Park, which from the 7th floor looks like a golf course. This Tuesday, in Brooklyn again, in the hasty minutes before the work of a workday begins. This Wednesday, sleep-deprived. This Saturday night, at my neighbor's empty studio. You, on multiple counts only hypothetically present thus far, you who will have given me, feedback on my delivery of these lines, and you, the audience, in a situation foreseen. In this moment I started anticipating several months ago. I'm lying, projecting, casting a shadow of myself into the future, optimistically, as I write this. By the time these words and their saying are synchronized, the occasion will call for amendment, and to be faithful, technically, I'll have to say I was lying, projecting optimistically as I wrote that, 22 or 16 or 12 or 11 days away from the anticipated situation. Or when I said that to the first you 7 days before, at an empty office on the 43rd floor of an Art Deco building across the street from Macy's on 34th Street. Or at a dull conference room at an office building in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Again, the question then is, that forthcoming Easter night, heretofore referred to as tonight, at the Zinc Bar, a Greenwich Village establishment, 3.3 miles away from my current location and heretofore referred to as here, before you, a multiplicity of singularities forming a community of variable durations. What junction am I at? Or rather, what junction are we at? Here and now, a fiction on the afternoon of Saturday, March 12th, in Brooklyn, a day before daylight savings ended, when I thought, that daydreaming presents a dilemma worth pondering. I still do, yet today I'm elsewhere in time. I refuse the past tense's imposing of itself. I let the moment prevail, adding to the confusion. Regression to primary states might bring this to the forefront. This being the issue of foresight, or lack thereof. The refutation of instrumentality. I have no instruments. I don't understand what this means. What you said is more interesting than what's here. Somewhere there's music, but not here. And so now, as I read and revise what was written yesterday, and the days prior, it is Sunday, an hour later than 24 hours ago and 42 days away from tonight. I'm in the same place as before, in the same place as subsequent days, as my presence this Saturday, a day after April Fool's Day, and at least on 20 additional days, proves. The light has changed, and an assortment of printed materials surrounds my laptop. Against expression was closest. I moved it out of the way, for to anthologize is to collect flowers, and I needed desk space. Also near me was the nightmare of participation, for to participate is to make known, to impart as much as to take part, which is what I'm trying to propose and develop within spatial practices. I'm also referring to the fact that not everyone can always be included, play a role. And Flaubert's compendium of received ideas, like all platitudes halting thought, creating, where there's dissonance, false harmonies. Practice. With practice, one can learn to play the violin like Paganini. I keep close Natalie Surratt's The Use of Speech. He likes to communicate. He's always willing to reveal himself without first trying to find out what sort of person he's dealing with. And why not? Further rereadings call for more amendments. It is Sunday again. The light belonged in spring, deceiving warmth-seeking bodies. Today's weather, like yesterday's, is the season's betrayal. Current conditions, breezy and cooler than yesterday, showers. It's early in the morning, but the light belongs in dusk. Trees are starting to bloom, unevenly, reflecting the various exposures to sunlight on any given block that shines obstructed or unobstructed passage to their branches. Some trees remain bare, while young leaves have begun replacing early cherry blossoms and forsythias. Daffodils scream spring as if a reminder was needed. Beautiful day today, sunny and warm with highs in the upper 60s. Stormy weather. Rain pouring down. This pitter and patter and beating, spattering, driving me mad. We get so hung up on the weather, and hang-ups need company. When said in company, will these statements ring true? The spirit is inclusive, annexing for itself whatever resonances cross its paths. Too abstract for some. Can you provide a concrete example? Substantiate the claim, annotates the editor. Two birds in one show, competing thises and that's. It is nighttime. The wintry weather is fading. The smokers and bar hoppers stay longer outside the pub across the street. Their chatter, their screeching laughs, wafting up toward my living room, prompting a deep listening exercise. It's like, super duper. I heard he owns half the block. It's just so fucking good. Like, actually, not bad. The B62 bus comes to a halt at the stop around the corner. Livery cabs honk. I was like, it's got to be. Oh, shut up. Cyclists pass by, booted footsteps, determined. The uneven clatter of high-heeled wobbling on the sidewalk. I'd do anything to make myself believe that this was a game between two parties at least, that my presence was welcome, perhaps even desired, despite the stultifying effect of an impotent publicity apparatus. Focus the idea, it feels unformed. Systems of incohesion, the room, the story, the daydream. Performers can't be in three places at once. Rumination doesn't belong here. Our presence is required to meditate on the relation between artifice and life. We strive to tolerate being strictly in the moment. The daydream dissipates as the utterance takes form, revealing itself on the screen through the interplay of fingers, electronics, and a keyboard, or the more mysterious workings of air as it leaves lungs and travels back outside, through throat and mouth to reach a recipient. I'll admit, I've emitted vibrations once I utter, as I've uttered, these typed up words. As they form themselves in my mouth and leave me behind, departing to lodge themselves, with any luck, in a portion of your attention. For you might be daydreaming as well, or thinking about what you're supposed to do tomorrow, or later today once you leave this room. Or you might be going over plans for the week ahead, as is customary on Sundays, particularly Sunday evenings, anticipating, pretty much as I'm doing, as we're doing, another Sunday, an overcast one, rehearsing in your mind what you might need to do or say on the following days. Daydreams are fantasies rehearsals. It feels glib, undigested. While daydreaming, we rehearse our fantasies, introducing slight variations so as to test and increase their plausibility. I read about a technique, imagery rehearsal therapy. Visualize a positive outcome repeatedly so as to change the course of the recurring nightmare. Use the word stagecraft in a piece. I rehearse being in the moment, the concrete delight of a vastly felt illuminated paradox. The clue is repetition. I rehearse being in the moment. The first you, as of this instant absent, therefore only correctly designated as a male third person singular, distance and speed regulation offering another clue, aims for clarity, precision, and improvement, to be prepared for what the moment might bring. But preparedness belongs somewhere between the past and a theoretical future. To arrive at emotion through thought, to arrive at thought through emotion, the flight only the literal affords. Time of arrival, non-estimated. Sentimentality is another daydream, a removal. To exercise it through exercise, returning to the body. I'm thinking with my fingers as I type. And in aiming for lightness while running, I write. Self-humor, emperor of mitigators, please visit. Help me exercise sentimentality. Or will you make this safe? We had vowed to avoid nods. Safe and final, only the past perfect. No subsequent temporal relation will upset it. Things are never what they seem, but once the lesson is learned, you might be closer, but things are still what Things are never what they seem, but once the lesson is learned, you might be closer, but things still aren't what they seem.